find out that there was a freak-off party in Vegas where a guy named Anton, an escort that gets apparently, allegedly, passed around celebrity circles, was banging somebody, possibly a celebrity's wife, in January in Vegas. And there was 7 to 8 people just sitting around the hotel room watching, some that were celebrities. The defense attorney argued, we need to have these names public, otherwise this is not a fair trial. And Maureen Comey, the governor, was like, no, we have to protect these names. Why? Oh, it's because it's the same thing she did during Ghislaine Maxwell. That's why we never got any names. So people can speculate, but right now the judge decided to agree with Maureen Comey. We're not getting the names.
James Comey's daughter always seems to be a part of everything from Epstein to the highest echelon of cases. Why would Comey's daughter be allowed under Pam Bondi's Department of Justice? I would have removed her immediately, not just because of the case, but because of the information that they learn while they investigate the case. See, not everything that they know, they prosecute.
I said, I think it'll be like all the other cases, and she'll put on a show trial, and they'll limit all the information, they'll suck up all the witnesses, and then all the lawsuits filed on Ghislaine Maxwell, all the lawsuits on P. Diddy, all the other lawsuits on Nexium, and all, I mean, it's just hundreds of organized sex trafficking pedophile cases, not just Epstein, get sent to her. And then her daddy famously controlled the files and used it for control, just like J. Edgar Hoover did. The CIA would find pedophiles, not just in Afghanistan, but other countries, and put them in charge as mayors and as council members and as village leaders because they found they were the most loyal and didn't even want money. They just wanted kids, but they would get angry and say, we want more Viagra. That was in the news, that the CIA had to fly in cases, pallets of Viagra for all the mayors in Afghanistan and had to supply them with little boys. This is their management system. This is how they control things. You know the people going to Epstein Island and Zorro Ranch and Peter Nygaard, similar facility in the Bahamas, they know they're going to be videoed raping kids. And it's not 15, 16-year-old girls. That's because in these cases, they limit it to those girls.
Epstein told me he worked with the CIA. The FBI tried to get me there to interview me. They only wanted to interview me in person. They would not interview me over Zoom. They organized emergency visas for my son and I. They were arranging for us to be put in first-class flights, 5-star hotels, but my child's father wouldn't let us travel, so thank goodness, in fact, because a lot of weird stuff happened with a lot of the girls who were interviewed by the FBI. And it's very frightening, like I said, not just for the victims, but for everyone in the world, when we're all being lied to like this.
4 months ago, Bondi raided it like she said she'd do the day after she learned it happened. They refused to turn it over. They kicked the FBI head out. The FBI raided the FBI. And then Bondi did the right thing, talked about it on the TV, sent the files out. And then I've talked to the FBI, multiple sources. They said, yeah, almost no one is volunteering to go watch it or investigate it. And I can't blame people at the end of the day. I would want to go look at raped, but some of them signed up for that, so they're stepping up. But why aren't hardly anybody reportedly willing to investigate? It's not just that they don't want to watch kids getting tortured. You think they want to take on the globalists, Bill Gates and people, the King of England? They know killed. So the reason we've gotten in this position is that evil understands that and gets people to commit such horrible acts that then society just doesn't even know how to process it. And then when evil gets away with that, all these other evil people see it and join in, and they like it, and they go, my goodness, this is a free reign. And the evil grows and grows and grows and grows until it brings down society. We're going to go over the edge into a cultural, spiritual black hole. We're basically already there. I'm in a deep state.
All right, we're here. Welcome to the show. Let me see here. We're stretched out tonight. We're here. Welcome to the show, July 19th, 2025. Saturday night. I really like Saturday nights. I wish I wasn't so busy all the time as a family man to do Saturday nights, because I just love doing the show on Saturday nights instead of being tired from all week, and you're dragging ass and you're doing everything you can to make sure that you have everything for the show. And when you do it Saturday, you got more time to deal with it. You lock your kids in the closet, all those normal things. But anyway, I'm here with Mike Rose, Master Sergeant Rose. We're going to get into some stuff tonight. Real quick, I want to just get some stuff out of the way. There's a few things that we need to cover. I'll tell you what happened last week. So last week I did my show, and I just told the truth, and that's what I do. If you've been here for any length of time, I'm just going to tell you what I see, whether it's good for MAGA or good for 47 or not good or whatever it is. Even if a Democrat does something that's very rare that happens that they do good, I'm going to let you know it. That's just how I do things. And so I had 4 phone calls, and I had like a whole shitload of messages. Oh, you give up on Trump and all. I was just calling it the way I seen it, all the intel that I've received. And guess what? I was absolutely right with all of it. We're going to get into a little bit of that. I don't want to keep dragging the Epstein thing out and all the stuff that's going on. But I will tell you this: Washington Journal, the one that posted that.
Wall Street Journal.
Wall Street Journal is going to get their ass sued because of that hoax thing that they've done. And so just to wrap it all up in a bow, and you can quote me on this. So when they got the Epstein files that had came from from New York, because they sent for them and they wouldn't give them to them. So they went in there, they raided the FBI office. Remember, all that stuff happened a few months ago. They got all the documents. They brought them to the field offices. They went through them all. And then they're like, holy fuck, all these documents have been just, falsified. Shit that Trump's done, Melania, all these different things, all these different hoaxes are coming, and they're coming. And they're going to use them against Trump, because that's what they do. All the different things that they've done over the last 10 years is exactly what they did to these documents. And Trump wasn't saying that Epstein was a hoax. He was saying that what's in these documents that they went and picked up from New York, a complete setup. I mean, they told on themselves, oh, yeah, there's a bunch of documents. One FBI tells another FBI that tells another one, and it gets to the White House that there's these documents that, and all this stuff. They totally set this whole thing up. And anybody that's done any of this, looked at any of this information, paid a half attention to it, knows that this is coming. So that's what happened. You can quote me on it. High-level sources. That's what happened. And so now they're coming out with, these letters from the birthday for Epstein. Next thing is going to come out is something about Melania and how that they're going to bring that thing back up where, Trump found her at Epstein's Island and all that's coming. You mark my words. In the next week, that's what's going to drop. That's what it's going to be like. And we got a couple things, not too much. I just want to clear it up. No, I'm not against Trump. And if he does something that's stupid, which it was, I actually think that when he bombed Iran, it was stupid, because now we're going to get into a whole bunch of that stuff. They're saying that they only really fractured one of the 3 sites, and the other 2 are almost operational within a couple months. So I think it was a waste of, however much money it costs to send the B-2 bomber in there and do all that stuff. And we'll get into it with Mike. He probably knows way more of that than I do, being 32 years in the Army. But this is a resistance. And when we're in a resistance, when something don't go right, like Trump saying it's a hoax and trying to cover it up because he knows this is coming up, it's just the truth. They're doing their best to manipulate Trump into doing this or that, and maybe there's backroom deals or whatever, so that so they don't release it. That's how they do. It's Washington D.C. That's how they do it all of it. They're all that way. So when I say that Trump was being a little slimy, I wasn't bullshitting you. It's just the way it is. And you know what? I love Trump. I voted for him 3 times. I'd vote for him again. If I can in 28, I will. And I'm not kidding about that. I believe that Bannon continues to talk about Trump being on the ballot in 2028. And if he is, I'll vote for him. But he's got to remember that they're looking for any reason every minute of every second of every day to get any dirt on him because they have that Trump derangement syndrome worse than they ever had. So what do you think, Mike? What do you think about that?
Well, first and foremost, thanks for having me on the show.
Absolutely.
Again. Secondly, I think it's a freaking waste of time.
What, all of it?
All of it, because the guys, they don't call him Teflon Don for nothing. Nothing sticks to this guy.
Right.
So what if he sent a birthday card?
Right.
Not
Right.
saying he did.
Yeah, I know.
So what?
Right.
He just passed one of the most major pieces of legislation in this country's history.
Ever.
What are they going to do? I watched an article earlier today where the Democrats are polling at 19%.
Yeah.
And there's another survey out there that they did. Hey, would you vote for Trump again if it was 2024 all over? 92% of the people said yes, they would. 92%. And the other 6% were, we don't know, maybe not. So whatever they try to hash out on this guy, look, they have nothing else. They're in a tailspin like a fighter going down in the ocean, fighter plane in the ocean. So it's like ridiculous what they keep bringing up on this guy. And like I said, who cares?
Right.
He doesn't care. The only thing he does is he sits back there. He tells his lawyers, okay, draft up another lawsuit.
Right.
What, CBS paid him multi-million dollars.
Was it 20 something million?
Yeah, I mean, they're building his presidential library for him.
Right.
I mean, and now I think he sued Wall Street Journal and the owners.
Fox.
I think
Fox News. Yeah.
for $10 billion.
10 billion. 10 billion.
Yeah. So I mean, this guy could walk naked across the White House lawn and still get the votes that he has.
Yeah.
So whatever, look, they've tried everything since 2016.
Right.
2014 or 2014, 15.
Yeah.
They have tried everything to demoralize, ostracize, politicize, you name it. They've tried everything on this guy. You know where he's at? Still sitting.
He's in the White House.
Sitting at the Resolute desk every day. So
I agree. I totally agree with
More
that.
power
That's
to
a
him.
good way to look at it. But it's good for
it's good for comic
it's
entertainment.
good for yeah.
That's what it is.
So and I don't have the clip. It wasn't worth it. But did you see Booker, Cory Booker, the other day did a walkout on the House floor?
Yeah, the
You
whole
see
group
that?
of them.
All the Democrats went out, and it was for that judge,
Yeah, whatever.
one of Trump nominees, and it's just like, you guys look like fucking idiots when you do that. I mean,
And
who does that?
that shows in the polls.
Yeah,
Look, if you're a party that's polling at 19%,
yeah.
and the trouble is, whoever's running the Democratic Party and whoever's strategizing their philosophy to win back everyday Americans, they're failing miserably. Because what's happening is, we don't necessarily. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. They're failing miserably because, good God, I mean, for Christ's sakes, why don't you try and instead of every time, like Trump said, or one of his surrogates said, if Donald Trump said that eating shit was bad for you, every Democrat would run out and start eating shit. and their entire platform right now is based on, well, if Trump says it's good, it must be bad. That's not how you win elections.
It sure
They've
is.
got to figure it out because I just saw a poll where they're up, or the Republicans are up
88 and 90.
yeah, towards, winning the midterms already. I know it's a little ways out, but I'll tell you what, once this big, beautiful bill starts kicking in, and once we get Powell out of the fed of the chair position, so we can stop this gangbusters.
You think so, huh?
Absolutely. Because the only thing holding back the economy right now is the inability to borrow money. And that's just my philosophy.
No,
and
that's
I
right.
say that because interest rates are still high. You lower the interest rates, small businesses are going to borrow more.
Mhm.
Small businesses are going to hire more people. More revenue is going to be generated through the form of taxes. Large companies will get more. They'll hire more. It's a trickle down effect. And I know a lot of people don't like to hear the word trickle down economics, but it worked.
Yeah. What about Bitcoin? You see what it just did?
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
cryptocurrencies in general are, I'm invested in them.
yeah.
So I'm invested in 6 or 7 different crypto coins. Now I bought them at like 0.000013.
Yeah.
So I've got like 7 million of them.
Yeah.
But you know, who knows?
All right.
I mean, Bitcoin is one of those. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens because they're talking about all kinds of stuff with that. I don't know yet. We're just gonna wait and see how it goes. But I know XRP doubled, and maybe not doubled, but went up like 35%.
Yeah. So did
in
Bonk.
2 days. So I mean, so we're gonna see what happens. I mean, they might make a bunch of millionaires because that's what happened with crypto.
Yeah.
When it started, when everybody was telling us to buy crypto and we didn't buy it, and then now we're looking at it, they're all millionaires, and we should have bought it when we did. But whatever.
What ifs,
I mean,
could ifs, and should ifs.
Could have, yeah, all that stuff. So, let's get into this this clip here for a second. So Maureen Comey, which is FBI James Comey's daughter, that's been in charge of New York, right? Or DC, was it New York?
New York.
Or DC? New York. Just did the Diddy trial, did Ghislaine Maxwell, did Epstein, a bunch of other petty pedophile cases where they got minimal time for it. And 2 days ago, might have been Tuesday afternoon, they gave her the boot. And so that's really good news, but but I'm wondering if it's to give them the boot and then retry all those cases because they probably can't.
Yeah.
I'm not a lawyer. I don't know how that works. I don't know anything about that really, but
Can't do double jeopardy.
right.
Can't be tried for the same crime.
But you could be tried for a crime if it didn't get what they call it kicked out or whatever. I don't know.
Right.
Anyway, so there's a bunch of talk about this, and the thing that's good is she's gotten fired, which means, and she's out there sniveling on social media and all that stuff. But the bigger thing is DNI, which is Gabber, just came out last night and said that investigating and trying, or I don't know the terminology. I think it's investigate and try and send to prison, basically Comey, Brennan, and Clapper.
Yep.
And those are the 3 main culprits for like the all the stuff that happened in 2016 with the Russia hoax and all that stuff, and they've and probably January 6th, and probably all these other cases, all these other hoaxes and things that's happened over the years. And we've got a clip we're going to play here in a minute. She wasn't like, oh, we'll see. She was like, we have the goods. Did you see it?
Yep.
I see it on Alex, so I recorded it. There's probably a cleaner clip, but I think, and if you don't know about Alex Jones, and a lot of people go, Alex Jones, look, listen, the dude has been doing this for 31 years, and he's been right way more than he's been wrong, if wrong at that. I mean, if you pay attention to Alex Jones, you're way ahead of the curve on everything because he's just got his ear to the grind. He does all these reverse engineering, all these situations, does all this stuff, and he'll tell you what's going to happen before it happens. So when they say Alex Jones was right, that is the truth. So Anyway, you want to say anything before I do this?
Well, it just strikes me, and they might cover this in the video, but it just strikes me that every one of these high-profile cases that involve children and celebrities have ended up on her desk. I'm talking about Comey.
Yes.
And all of them have been found innocent for the most part.
For the most part.
So it just strikes me as odd, and somebody's. This is my personal opinion.
No.
Somebody's paying off somebody.
Say whatever you want.
Somebody's paying off somebody. You know, it doesn't make sense. I mean, they had this Diddy guy. I mean, good God, there was video. How the hell do you find him innocent when you're watching videos of him and kids? So whatever.
A lot of money flowing, and that's the one thing that I mean, and you know, my audience knows this. That's the one thing that gets me when I have to cover the child molestation and the rape and all that stuff. It's the one thing that just gets me. Like, I literally have to stop, go to play a 5-minute clip, and go pour water in my head or something just so I can get back with because it hits me so hard. Yeah. I don't even know why, you know, it's just like, if that was if my kids were involved in that, well, I would be the one in prison, not the pedophile. Let's just say it like that.
And unfortunately, you would go to prison.
Oh yeah. Quick. No problem. They don't give a shit. So we're going to go down the line. I want to remind everybody that this is a free country. And if you're not thinking for yourself, you're part of the rat wheel, or you're part of the, you know, call it whatever you want. And I seen this today and I'm like, that's a perfect place to start the show right there. So we're going to start the show with this right here. And I know that we played the Comey, Fire Comey one, but I mean, like, this is perfect. And if you have any common sense left, if any of us have any common sense, you'll listen to this dude and go, yep, stand by.
Look, I'm going to say this one time only. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm a constitutionalist. I've served this great constitutional republic my whole adult life. You guys want politics, man? Have at it. You guys could beat each other up about it. Who's left, who's right, who's up, who's down. I don't give a fuck about any of that shit. As far as I'm concerned, all these motherfuckers are all in the same boat. They're the same beast. You really want me to believe that these Republicans and these Democrats go behind closed doors and duke it out for your future? These are the same motherfuckers that were in charge during COVID, locked you down. Now, whether they voted for these draconian laws, you know, the ones on the other side of the aisle, they stayed silent. These are the same motherfuckers that tried to impose all these restrictions on you, tried to lock down this nation, destroy your future, took your children out of school. Shit's fucked, man. They are still in power, but you guys, for some reason, it's like all of that is erased. These are the same motherfuckers, but now you support this one, or you support this one over here. They had no problem having you hug your family members through plastic, trying to inject you with fucking poison. Same beast. These career politicians that make 6 figures a year are magically worth millions of dollars, while you guys are fucking sucking it up, while you guys can barely make ends meet. And you don't point your fingers at these corrupt career politicians. No. These global elitists that have infiltrated our government have mastered propaganda on this thing to the point where you get mad at somebody that just disagrees with you, or somebody that identifies by a different party. You don't get mad at these motherfuckers because of this right here. It's a great tool. They do what they want. They shake the beehive. Then they let all you guys fucking duke it out. Do you really think at this point anything that the government tells you is going to be the truth about anything? I'm not just talking about Epstein. I'm just talking about anything. Have we got the truth about JFK, RFK, Martin Luther King? Have we gotten the truth about the Vegas shooter, these assassination attempts on Trump? Have we gotten the truth about anything? Right, left, Republican, Democrat? No. One beast. Use your critical thinking skills. Stop arguing with people on this. Start getting mad at these career corrupt politicians that wind you up like a fucking toy. You're directing your anger at fucking like people you don't even know on social media instead of getting mad at these motherfuckers while they're sitting back in their fucking mansions getting fat off of you, funneling your tax dollars into their fucking pockets. Oh, what happened to P. Diddy? Shit. Not talking about him anymore, are we? It's a cycle. Piece of cheese. Constantly chasing them. You're not looking around. Start using this.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. And that's what we talk about here. You know, we talk about, and you know, my buddy called me. So we're having a conversation last week about the debacle with this with Trump saying it, you know, shut it down, don't investigate it, stop talking about it, and all that stuff. And you know, the truth is, his whole base was fucking pissed. I mean, everywhere, everybody was just livid, except for the go along, get along people. You know, they were, you know, oh, you know, Trump can do no wrong. And the truth is, the real truth is, when one of our people, whether it's your homeboy, I mean, if your best friend's doing some stupid shit, and you're like, hey, bro, maybe you should not be, you know, talking to that 22-year-old chick when your wife's at home. I mean, I don't know. You know what I mean? You know, it's like you got to let them know. And so we rattle the cage, and we let and we start the cycle of letting Trump know what's going on. Do you think that he don't see it? You don't think that all the people up in the administration aren't watching these videos? They got people designated just to watch social media to find out what the vibe is. And you know, when we do that what's left is he's got to really take a look at it. And that's what we've done. We've been pretty damn successful at it, because now they're doing investigations. Now they're like, and I get it, he's pissed, you know, that another hoax, another bunch of bullshit, another, you know, situation where we're going to have, you know, go through all this drama and court cases and lawyers and money and all that stuff. The difference is, I think it's paid for by the federal government. Your tax dollars will be paying for Trump's lawyers to fight it out with the Democrats, because that's what it will be. And so my point is, it was like, you know, what are you you're not a Republican anymore? And I'm like, I never was a Republican. I've always been a conservative populist. I've always been I'm going to vote on the red ticket, obviously, but when it comes down to situation, really, we're all liberals. And what's happened is the Liberal Party has changed so much that now we vote Republican, because the liberals are crazy. I mean, they're like, want to cut your kids' dicks off and stuff. So that's not what I'm about. So that's kind of what has happened. And everybody that you look at, whether it's RFK or Trump or Chelsea Gabbard, I mean, all of them, they were all Democrats. They were all Democrats. If my mom was alive right now, she'd be saying the same thing as I'm saying, because something happened about 20 years ago to the Democratic Party, and it changed it. So now, like, it's just what it is. And they're crazy. And I believe, I have my own opinion. I'm allowed to have one. is I think that the Democratic Party in the next 3 cycles, maybe the next 3 cycles, are going to be completely gone unless we fuck it up. That's what I think. I think they're going to just disintegrate. That's what I think. What do you think?
They're definitely on the path. I mean, like we were talking about, they're polling at 19%.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how more screwed you can get. And the trouble is, as we discussed, they have no message other than we must fight Trump.
Yep.
And that doesn't resonate. It
really
resonates with their far left, the dare I say rabid left wing Democrats.
Yep.
It resonates with them, but your mom and pop who runs an ice cream store in Lincoln, Nebraska, that are trying to make ends meet, they don't give a crap about what the Democrat philosophy. They want to have safe streets, cheap gasoline, cheap diesel fuel to run their combines. They want to have safe streets. I said that. They just want to go about their lives and not have every factor of their lives, every faction of their lives being intruded upon.
Right, I agree.
And that's all the Democrat Party has become. They want to take this away. They want to raise taxes to pay for this. They want to do this. They want to take this away. They want to make sure you can't do this. They want to make sure you have to go here instead of here.
Yep.
They want to get away from free choice.
Yeah.
And that's just not a platform you win on.
It really isn't. Make sure. So here, let me back you up a little bit. And we haven't talked about none of this stuff, but let's just shoot this clip. Hold on.
Sure.
CNN.
I mean, look, I think this one surprised me a bit because of all of these complaints online going after Trump and the Epstein files. You might think his approval ratings were going down, Republicans. If anything, they're going up. Republicans who approve of Trump, look at our CNN poll. The prior one, 86%. The one out this week, 88% were Republicans. How about Quinnipiac? The prior poll, 87% approval of Republicans. This week out, 90% were Republicans. If anything, Donald Trump's approval rating has gone up since this whole Epstein saga started. He is at the apex or close there too in terms of his popularity with Republican voters, Epstein files, complaints, or not.
You just proved that not everything online is real.
Yes,
in real life.
Who knew?
Amazing.
Twitter and X are not reality.
Is there any reason that you can find that this hasn't taken hold and hurt him?
Yeah. I mean, on X, all you hear about is the Epstein files. But how about out in the real public? Republicans who said the top issue was Epstein case. The answer is one, and not 1%. One responded. This is a great little finding that Ariel Edwards-Levy, who of course is part of our polling unit, found. Just one single Republican said that the nation's top problem is in fact the Epstein case. Not much of a surprise that therefore Donald Trump's approval rating has not suffered with Republicans because of the Epstein case. Because the bottom line is most Americans say it's not high up on their priority list.
Go ahead, Mike. You start. I want to hear what you have to say about that.
About the clip?
Yeah.
Well,
let me go ahead.
I think you and I we discussed this earlier.
Yeah.
I fully believe that Trump could walk naked across the White House lawn, dragging an illegal immigrant and throw him into an ice van, and it would not hurt him. I think his base. I used the term rabid before. They're almost the same way as they for him. I don't care what he does.
Yeah,
he's not going to lose popularity.
Right. Well, when I first heard this poll, I was like, "That's bullshit." That's my first impression, and it was because I was caught up in the cycle of the internet. Because the cycle of the internet is different than, families at home.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, like you, for a good example, is like, the farmer out in Nebraska example. They're not looking at the internet going, did he fuck 12-year-olds? They're not thinking about that. They're thinking, or did they?
They're trying to
Did
get
Trump
their
just come
crops
out and say, shut it down? We won't want to talk about what Epstein did because it was all a hoax. No, they're not looking at that. I mean, maybe a small portion, and that's when I really started to realize what that was, because what he's saying is, even though Twitter is blown up about this whole thing, the American people, the ones that they do these pollings, I've never been called for a poll, but my point is, those people are like, my gas is $2.50. It used to be $5. I mean, eggs are down, $2. I mean, all the different things that's going on is why they're like, so what? Like, whatever. I don't give a shit. Like, keep going, keep going. And if you remember, when he first got it, I was shocked. I mean, it was like he showed up with his homeboys and just started blasting everybody. They did executive orders by the hundreds and just blam, 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 just going to town, when he first started, he really came out blazing, guns a-blazing. And it seems like it's slowed down a little bit, but he's got a lot accomplished. And so, just so you know, for those of you that may not know this, for every executive order or thing that he does at the Resolute desk, there's 50 fucking lawsuits, and they have to go through this whole big old thing. And he's got lawyers. The lawyers are busy.
Well,
because it's a nonstop all the time. You know what I mean?
The Supreme Court ruling a couple of weeks ago
that really did help.
That limited a district judge's authority to just their district.
Yeah.
I can't underestimate how important that was.
Yep, for sure.
I mean, you had a district judge in San Francisco blocking the termination of federal employees. Right. Now, at one point in time, or every point in time, when you go to work for the federal government, I forgot the term, as needed, at will employment.
Okay.
They can get rid of you.
Yeah.
Now,
for sure.
the unions always fight for crap like that.
Right.
And that's just one of the injunctions. I mean,
the
whole thing about the Supreme Court, although they are very conservative, they have given him some powerful victories over the last month. Mm-hmm. I mean, transformational about the way we deal with immigrants, the way we deal with almost everything on day-to-day life.
Absolutely. I agree with that. I don't know, and it's a little bit off topic, but just before we jump into this next thing, did you see, the Bruin case for 2A was a major thing that happened, and you don't hear about it on MSNBC or whatever. It's not on mainstream media at all. They don't talk about anything that has to do with gun rights. But they just approved. First, it was a petition to get your gun rights back if you are a felon with no violence. Then now another one came out 2 days ago, and it's like talking about I have to wait and talk to my lawyer to get exactly what it is. My brother, I'll talk to him tomorrow about it. But my understanding is it's an automatic petition, so you don't have to file a bunch of paperwork to get your gun rights back. Because there's people, and they use the Martha Stewart. She lied to whoever about money transfers or whatever, and she went to prison. And when you go to prison, when you get a felony, they take your gun rights from you. And so now they're saying that it's unconstitutional and you are allowed to have your gun rights. And so millions of people are going to get their gun rights. And that's a Pam Bondi thing. That's a Trump and Bondi. And because, I listen all day, every day, constantly, all I hear about is how horrible she is and how much bad she is. But then when you step back for a second and not get caught up on the rat wheel, you see there may be some things that she's not doing right, just like Trump, but in the big grand scheme of things, they're fucking killing it. They are making shit happen.
And don't forget the Supreme Court ruling that regarded concealed carry permits.
Yes.
Because now you don't have to provide a reason. In California and New York, a bunch of liberal states, used to be law where you had to say, okay, well, I'm being followed, I'm being stalked, whatever.
Right.
Now, You can get your concealed carry permit without providing reasons.
Nice, that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, it might take you 2 years in California because they slow walk it. I mean, they must put it on buggy and carriage and to get it there or something. But yeah, for sure, I totally.
That was huge.
So I want to make sure that I don't miss nothing before we move on, because it's going to get pretty. It's going to get. Oh, I know what we're going to do. We're going to. I know what I want to do. Check this out. So remember the video came out 2-3 weeks ago about the prison cell, because we're still on that Epstein. We're getting past the Epstein things. I think there's maybe 2 more on the Epstein thing, and then we're going to get the hell out of here. We're going to go and do some other stuff. But the video, right? There was the video of the cell block, and they're like, oh, there's no way for, all that bullshit, right? Oh, there's no way for anybody to come in and kill him and all that stuff. It was suicide and all that bullshit, right? Well, we know it wasn't, but because the ME, the medical examiner report, says his neck was broken in 3 places, not consistent with hanging. So that was the first thing that happened with the number one, what are they called? The people that do the autopsy.
Coroner's pathologist.
Yeah, pathologist said, and he's like the number one in the United States, in the world, really. Anyway, so that was that. But let's listen to what this. I always like these. You watch these. I watched this video, and I'm like, this dude looks like a straight fucking San Francisco liberal, and then he starts talking, and you're like, oh, see, don't judge a book by its cover. So check this out. This is going to be a good one for you. He's breaking down the clip, or the 12-hour, whatever it is. Hold on. Stand by.
So supposedly the raw footage of Epstein's cell released by the White House was edited in Adobe, and me being a computer nerd and having nothing else to do with my evening decided to look into it myself. This is the official FBI memo. Down here there's going to be 2 links to 2 different videos. One is a edited video with higher contrast. That's the second video. This first video is supposedly the raw footage. So I followed that to this link. I downloaded the video. We can see it up here. And I'm going to guide you guys over to here, where I'm going to run the following command, exif tool. It's an open source tool that's going to give me the metadata for this video. Boom. And if we look at this section right here, what do we have here? Ooh, Adobe XMP Core 9.0. If we go down to these history actions, more importantly, we have a saved, created, saved, saved, saved. And then we can look at these history wins to see when these actions were made. So this first action was the created, and then we had about 3 hours, actually almost 4 hours, between the initial project was created and this first save. And then all 3 saves after that were basically one after another. And what I can deduce from that is whoever this MJ Cole guy is, he just spammed the save key 3 times because he was really scared of losing all of his progress. And MJ, let's make more saves throughout our editing process so we don't have to worry about that. And I'm assuming that this last history win was placed in front for some reason. It seems to be the most recent. It also is tagged with a history instance ID that is not a Adobe XMP format history instance ID. So I'm assuming this is the ID that was exported. Anyways, the government thinks you're stupid, so don't let them get away with thinking that. That's the whole point of this video.
Yeah, so hold on a second. I'm having trouble with my cursor here. Hold on. It does this stupid shit sometimes. Where'd it go? It's dragging. What's going on? Stand by. I'm getting it figured out here. My battery's new too, so I don't know what happened here.
Could be the mouse pad.
All right, we still have trouble now. If you've watched what I'm no computer person, as obviously I can't even get my mouse to work. Okay, but the point is this video where he's talking about this, and I don't understand any of it, but I can kind of follow along, like a bouncing ball. And so I wrote myself a note. Why do they not vet this stuff before they put it out? It makes no sense to me, especially something as hot as Epstein or, one of these super hot topics. You know what I mean? Why do they not vet this stuff and make sure this stuff is real? They just put anything out like we're fucking idiots, and
because they don't care.
They don't care, do they? They don't give a fuck. They just don't care.
They're untouchable.
So anyway, I just wanted to roll that out there. Now, I have one more, and then we're going to get into some pretty interesting stuff. But before I do, I just want to wrap this up before we get into the indictment stuff with the hoax part of the stuff that happened last week. So stand by.
So Donald Trump warned you it was all a hoax. And now you're getting ready to see what he was warning you of. In an absolutely perfectly timed hit piece, the Wall Street Journal just published this story. Jeffrey Epstein's friend sent him body letters for a 50th birthday album. One of them was from Donald Trump. Apparently, the Wall Street Journal has been reviewing a book that was put together by Ghislaine Maxwell from his 2003 birthday that somebody was just hanging on to. And it just magically appeared out of thin air, out of nowhere in 2025. Just showed up. And they got to look at it. And this article is accusing Donald Trump of contributing a birthday card to Ghislaine Maxwell to put with a compiled birthday present that was given to Jeffrey Epstein back in 2003. And in that birthday card, they say that Donald Trump drew a picture of a naked woman and then scribbled his signature over her lady bits. And then there was a transcribed third-person conversation that was typed with inside the image. Because that's how Donald Trump communicates. Yeah, Donald Trump has been known to draw pictures and to use typewriters back in 2003. Yeah, because that makes sense. For all those people out there who were getting very squishy and you didn't quite understand what Donald Trump was talking about when he started referring to it as the Jeffrey Epstein hoax, go watch the video I did earlier this morning, 10-minute video, and explains the depths of it. But this is specifically what he was talking about. You're getting ready to watch a hoax play out right before your very eyes. The media, the propagandists, the leftists, the ruling elites, the oligarchs, they're trying to pull Russian collusion all over again. Except this time, they forget that we're better than them. Oh, and by the way, Donald Trump is going to sue the living shit out of the Wall Street Journal.
Cut that short. Yeah, so can somebody send me that? Has anybody seen the letter? Has anybody seen the letter that this supposedly is out there? And it's this bombshell. We got Orange Man and somebody, my email's up there. Somebody write it down, send me it, email it to me.
It's not out there.
I know it's not, but this is my point. It's like, why?
There would be plastered all over the media.
This is another thing that I just don't understand. If you're going to come up with something, they're talking about, there's going to be something that's coming out the next day or two about Melania. So, and that's going to be the thing that pisses. And by the way, if you've paid attention to Trump, and I kind of got a download on this today, Trump is pissed. Like, I don't know if you know this or not, but they tried to kill him twice. They've tried to arrest him, put him in jail for 900 years or some bullshit, some outrageous stuff. The whole family, all of his businesses, his money. I mean, everything. They've tried to take him off the ballot. All the stuff. Tried to poison him in Tucson. I mean, just everything you can imagine, right? And he's pissed. You would be too. I mean, he's not working for the Republicans or the conservatives or MAGA. He's working for the United States, and he's trying to make America great for the United States and really other countries too. Because if you think about it, the policies that he's putting in really doesn't just affect the United States. It really will, in the long run, affect the whole world with all the policies, because when we have more money, everybody else has more money. And that's kind of how, that's why we're the superpower. And so somebody send me this, whatever it is that came from the, from Fox News, because it came, it's a Murdoch, the whole thing is a Murdoch thing. They're going to probably end up having to pay Trump $2 billion or $10 billion or something for this next one. And then we'll see what comes out. There's rumor that it's coming out in the next day or two. So it might be out now. I don't know. I haven't been searching the internet today, but we will do a special report on it when we see it. So you want to say anything about this?
Well, like I said, it's not out there. If it was real, it'd be plastered across every legacy media station on the planet. It would be in BBC. It would be in Sky News Australia. It would be plastered all over the place. But you know what? People don't care.
Right.
I've sent birthday wishes to people that I didn't necessarily like,
Right.
But it's something you do.
Yeah, of course.
And okay, 22 years ago?
Yeah.
Who the F cares?
Yeah. 2003, so 23 years ago. Yeah, long time.
Yeah.
22, I guess 22 years ago.
Who cares?
Right.
Who cares? And you know what? The trouble is, Trump said it best. His best revenge will be his success.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's driving them fucking mad,
Man.
isn't it? They shit their pants every day. I don't know what it's like to be a liberal who has to wake up every morning hating somebody the way they hate Trump.
Right.
Isn't that great?
It's amazing.
That's a whole new form of mental illness.
It is.
So.
It's definitely mental illness. And like our mutual friend that used to be a lobbyist, and now he's like, I can't even associate with these kind of people.
Yeah.
Because they're just too far gone. I mean, This is what's going on here. Like, we're not just talking about like people like me that, didn't vote, didn't care, didn't pay attention to politics. I was one of them. Like, I didn't care about it until I seen what I seen, and I was like, holy shit, I need to be paying attention to this, because it got to a point where it was bad. So that's why this whole thing showed up like this for me, the show. Now, did we do the indictment thing? We didn't do it, right?
Not yet.
Okay, so we're going to do the indictment. Then I'll go back to the financial markets because that was the other thing we talked about. It's funny how we went through all this stuff, and it's the first 5 clips. So this is Gabber, D&I director, talking about the indictments for Clapper, Comey, and Brennan, which I cannot wait. They ought to perp walk them right down there. You know what I mean? Stand by.
Do you see crimes here?
I do, Sean, and I'm referring all of these documents that we have found and uncovered, referring them to the Department of Justice for further investigation, accountability, and action, not just investigation, but action. Accountability has to take place. The American people's ability to have faith and trust in the integrity of our democratic republic is literally what's at stake, and therefore the future of our ability to exist as the country.
Good. Do it. We're entering a new era, my friends. So here's the big announcement. When you've got Tulsi Gabbard making a criminal referral publicly against these people, that is a huge deal. That's the director of national intelligence giving all these secret files to the public and to the DOJ, and even more that has sources and methods and things in it that's being transferred. This is open and shut. They've already released documents proving it at Obama's direction. They all got together and cooked up all these lies and did all of this, and then did it again in 2020 with a Hunter Biden laptop and all the rest of it, and censored everybody and the rest of it. So here's what I'm told and what I can already see from my White House sources, from my DOJ sources, from Roger Stone, his talks with the president, and others. Finally, They have the smoking gun. They are preparing all the information because it's so smoking gun doesn't take long, and they are preparing the indictments of Brennan, Clapper, and Comey.
And that means you know who else goes down, right? Obama and Hillary and all, because it's all together.
You're not going to be able to do anything to Obama.
I know, but
Yeah.
only because he was president.
Yeah.
But I mean, after the fact,
I mean, his reputation, like I said, the people on the far left won't care. They're going to say this is all made up anyway.
right? They're going to say that it's all hoax. Right. Yeah.
But if that's a big if,
big if,
if all this did occur, and these individuals were party to conspiracy to create false evidence, then they need to be brought to justice, and it needs to be, they need to be prosecuted.
What's the penalty?
Oh, I mean, conspiracy. I don't quote me on this, but that's a federal crime, so it could anywhere probably maybe 10 years. I don't know. I don't know the penalties on specific crimes.
It's not hang them. I can't.
No.
You can't get some public hanging of them. I'm saying. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
No,
just kidding.
But if they are convicted, I doubt very seriously if they'd ever see jail time. Remember, who are you talking about here? You're talking about
government.
The former FBI director,
Yeah.
the former director of national intelligence, the former head of the CIA. Let's think about this for a moment on what kind of shit they can spill.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So if you don't think there's a backdoor deal being made, probably right now.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? If you go through with this, I'll go along with the conviction, but we're not going to do any time. And matter of fact, if we do, if you think about timing, let's see how many things I can dredge up about the United States government and what we've done in foreign countries.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's where this ends up right here.
So it just ends up being a notch in the belt.
It's a win for the Republicans. It's a win for the Department of Justice is what it is. It's a win for Trump too, because if for somehow these individuals are convicted for ginning up this Russia hoax, which pretty much
it's way bigger than that.
I get that, but
it's way bigger.
But they can't do such a broad investigation. They have to narrow their focus. Yeah, because I mean, for Christ's sakes, let's just say you're trying to investigate 100 things.
Yeah.
You know how long that takes? But if you've got documentation,
boom, yeah,
If you've got documentation that they say they have, the smoking
gun,
then evidentiary or the evidence will be there, and like I said, but they'll never serve time.
Right. Okay. So, okay. But I mean, I'll take the notch in the belt if that's all it is, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a win for the Trump. It's a win for him.
Yeah. So, yesterday?
Great Beatles song.
Yeah. They were talking about the CBDCs again. I don't know what you know about the central bank digital currency or not, but that's a control mechanism. And I've done a bunch of stuff. I've done a bunch of reports on the CBDCs and what happens when you go to a central bank digital currency and how they can turn it on, turn it off, and control you, and and all that stuff. And then then they don't let you buy certain things, all that stuff, right? And so.
I'm a little confused about this whole thing because the people that control the currency in the United States is the Fed.
Yeah. Well.
So is this a new organization?
Yeah. Let's watch this clip and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it. But this is way bigger than it's about, because they're saying that the dollar is going to drop any minute, drop out and all that stuff, and then you're going to have to. But anyway, let's listen to what Bannon and Jones talks about. Then we'll come back. Okay. Hold on. That clip right there. Okay.
President Trump wrote an executive order about digital currency. One of the things people said, hey, it doesn't shut down the possibility of central bank digital currency. The Genius Act didn't do it. They've got a deal that they're going to slip something in the NDAA, but that may not pass the Senate. Just can you give your overall, the audience, your overall observations when it comes to the potential dangers of a central bank digital currency, sir?
It's really hard to overstate how dangerous it is. It is literally the mark of the beast system, a global social credit score, the ESG corporate governance systems right down into your smart devices, your phone, the smart appliances, the AI, surveilling everyone in lifetime. As you know, China's already had it in place for about 7 years. Ground robots, drones being directed by it. The goal is you can't leave 1 foot outside your house, to quote the Chinese Communist government. If you're not in good standing, you can't get on a train, you can't rent a car, you can't rent a hotel, you can't have a job. And the UN, the WWIII, and others for decades, and Bill Gates has been heavily involved, have already created the standardization for this with China for a global rollout of central bank digital currencies that the nations then comport to. And essentially, it'll end up being one big global corporate new currency that would replace the dollar. So Trump wisely in the last few years said he is against any central bank digital currency system, and he would oppose one foreign, which is basically what the BRICS is forming, and that he would oppose one here. And he has supported Bitcoin and things that actually diversify currencies to the public that are free and open and open source, and a competing market of currencies, which is the answer. And so it's really the ring of Sauron to bind everybody together with total control. And we have the head of the IMF and the World Bank and the International Bank of Settlements and the head of the UN, all of them. We have Tedros, the head of the WHO, saying we need a global central bank digital currency to control everything you do, to lock you down during new pandemics they've got planned. This is the mechanism. It'll be your internet ID. It'll do everything. And if we think as populists and conservatives and Christians and common sense people, we've been debanked and harassed as conservatives before, this is exponentially more dangerous. And the big international banks that the Federal Reserve is part of, private, they have said this is their holy grail, and they're really, really trying to roll it out. And so the fact that there is a pathway to this with a digital central bank digital currency dollar in this Genius Act, and that only NPG and you and a few others have been exposing it, it is a nightmare. But 11th hour, we shot down, thanks to you and others exposing it, when they had mainly pro votes for it. A large majority were supporting the AI liability protection for 10 years from the states and individuals, where AI would basically be above the law and could do whatever it wanted. That was just a blank check. We were able to then shoot that down in the big, beautiful bill, 99 to 1 vote. And so I think as we expose this section of the Genius Act, I believe that we can probably get that pulled out as well, because I would imagine, Trump sticks to his guns and understands this. And I don't think that Trump probably even knows about this at this point. You might go have lunch with him again and update him on what's happening. But I think if we cause a big enough stink about this, we can shoot this down. But at the end of the day, it's a threat to the dollar.
Yeah. So it is so now that you hear that, now it gives you a little more information about that.
Yeah. Well, I don't even trust working, on my phone.
Yeah. Exactly.
To open my bank accounts and transfer money.
I'm
kind of old school. I like to go to the bank myself. I was in the bank in person the other day. Anything that has to deal with the internet.
Yeah.
Because everything, God,
all controlled.
How many times have we read about these data breaches? So who's to say that some smart, because AI is growing exponentially.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So someone, who's to say that someone cannot control AI and just reach out and take over this digital currency?
Absolutely.
And then what does that do for people? You can't go to the store, can't buy groceries, can't go buy gas if you have no money. It's all.
Yeah, and that's just on a superficial.
Yes.
There.
Yes.
Because we're talking about governments that
Yes.
want to lock you down, take your stuff. You can't eat meat today. All the different things. I mean,
what happens if the government of China says, okay, I want my best hackers to steal all of the Republic of Congo's money?
Yeah, it's gone.
Because they won't let me put a new mine in. It's gone.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we're talking about governmental collapse. Mm-hmm. If there's no money for a government to run its operations, you're talking about collapse. That's scary shit.
Yeah, it's scary. So that's going on right now at the House and the Senate, and that is going on. They're talking about that right now. They're doing their best to block it right now.
Yeah.
But that is currently going on in government, where they're attempting to get CBDCs pushed through. To save America. You know what I mean? And what it's going to do is it's going to be just like the Patriot Act or some other bullshit that they throw at you. They say that they're trying to save humanity, and then next thing you know, all your rights are gone. So that's that kind of thing.
Yeah, and even if it does pass the House and pass the Senate, which are incredibly divided, Trump will veto it, because pretty much that's what he will veto it, and I don't think they'll have the votes to override the veto.
What, 60%?
60, 2/3.
Yeah.
What's it at? 67?
Yeah.
67 votes.
Okay. All right. Well, let's hope that doesn't fly. But they've been hot and heavy on that for years and years and years. It keeps coming back up. They keep saying if they could get it through, they think they're going to get you while you're distracted. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I hope it. Like I said, I don't trust anybody that has control over the internet. And if you're talking about putting everybody's currency.
Yeah.
A digital currency. So there's no more dollar, no more,
right.
No more nothing.
Yeah.
So you're using some sort of Bitcoin, for just an example, or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever they make this currency.
It talked about a chip in your hand, by the way.
Yeah. Well, that's not new technology. That's fairly old technology. But what I'm saying is, I mean, the ability to have it hacked into, and to cause
so easily
major implications.
Oh yeah,
would be that's all.
So we'll be following this very closely, and we'll be talking about this some more in the future. Now, I want to get into this because this is what happens. We start talking, and the next thing you know, time's flying. But I want to cover this conflict. We got Iran, Russia, we got all this different conflict stuff going on, and we're going to get into that. Mike's very well versed in this sort of thing, and I'm going to start with. Do you know who Matt Bracken is?
I do not.
Okay, so let's start with him first. It's a these clips are a little long. We can stop and start them. This first one, we'll just play it through. But then when we get to the Iran, the third clip, we'll stop and start it if you want. We could discuss the different things. But this is a war game thing that they're doing. So let's start with Bracken from last week, talking about the danger of Iran and this whole conflict and, all that stuff that's going on with that, where, the bombing and all that stuff. So stand by. Well, I am doing it. That's the second time that happened. Hold on. There we go.
Matt, big picture, Putin definitely doesn't see this as strength. We've got Putin sends message to U.S. with record 700 drone and missile attacks overnight. Trump has said basically that, the quote is Putin's now full of BS. And I'm not a Putinite by any stretch of the imagination, but NATO started this long escalation in war. Russia's out producing weapons. He said 3-1. The money's not there. So China sees that its weakness. I know China wanted us to go into Iran because it depletes our weapons. They can do the math. They can bean count as good as anybody, maybe better. I mean, America on trade and other issues was starting to win, and yeah, the border's getting secured. But suddenly in the last 3 months, I'm seeing Trump take a very dramatic turn on a bunch of issues to very destructive waters. And I would be derelict to my duty as an American citizen, as a father, to not be criticizing it. What is your big picture view of what's happening? You're a smart guy. I mean, what do you think's really going on? A, and then B, how do we get Trump to course correct back? I mean, I think it's by criticizing him. I know these messages get back to him. Well, big picture, and then what do we do?
Well, I think that Israel is trying to suck us into a major war with Iran, for sure. And Israel doesn't care about regime change. I hear that all the time. Israel wants regime annihilation, the way they did in Syria. Israel knows, Netanyahu knows they can't, control who the next leader of
Well, that's right.
Iran
As soon as they got rid of Assad, they blew up the whole infrastructure, not just military.
Right. There's no more Syrian Air Force, tanks, APCs, runways. They just roamed the country.
Power stations, everything.
So it's basically down to, Jolani's now our man, the former ISIS murderer that had a $10 million bounty. So for Israel, this is a good outcome in Syria. It was terrible for the Syrian Alawites and Christians. No matter what Assad was, he was a sectarian leader, not a, ISIS, Takfiri Muslim radical. But what they would like to see in Iran is Iran power plants destroyed, refineries destroyed, Iran starving, and then fighting among itself. It will no longer be a power in the region if it's reduced to a giant Syria. Now, from the American point of view, our perspective, it would be the worst possible outcome to be forced to put boots on the ground in Iran. We think that Trump believes we can put the end cap on any kind of a confrontation because we have this B-2 bomber that can just, hit any target. But that doesn't end the war. If Iran doesn't want to end the war, just the way that we saw with the Houthis continuing to sink ships in the Red Sea. Iran, people need to keep this in mind. It's almost 3 times as big as